So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Eazy Conversations. Thanks a lot to everyone who listened to the last episode featuring the homie Matt and I. Hope you enjoyed listening to us list off a good amount of pet peeves, good feedback from the people. So, thanks to everybody who did listen and let us know that they agreed or disagreed on some of our pet peeves. Definitely a part one of two, if not three, to be honest. Might be a Lord of the Rings style trilogy, but that's a story for another time. So now for episode 145 of these conversations. I'm extremely excited, of course, to be back in the studio virtually with the homie Matt. Say what's up to the people.
What's going on, everybody? Hope you're having a good day, a great day right now. I'm excited for today's episode, Eric. Can't wait to talk about these shows and movie and dissect them. And without further ado, why don't you tell the listeners which movie and which shows we're going to be dissecting right now?
Yep, so for this one, we're going to be doing our, at least annually, we do this recap of the Marvel products that have been released this year. And we don't always shed light on DC because either there just isn't as much that drops or we're not that crazy about it. But this year, that is not the case. So we're going to be going over the Marvel products that dropped this year, specifically Deadpool versus Wolverine. Deadpool and Wolverine? Is it versus? I don't even know. Deadpool and Wolverine, and Agatha All Along, the latest Marvel show, and then DC's product, HBO's The Penguin. So we're going to start off with the Marvel content and then move our way over to DC. And then, get into an analysis of their each's place in cinema entertainment, where they're headed, all that fun stuff. So we're going to start off with Deadpool and Wolverine, not Deadpool versus Wolverine, as is sometimes confused as. So the only Marvel movie that we got this year, which is very uncommon. We normally get a minimum of two, if not around three Marvel movies a year. I think this was a good thing that Marvel decided to just give us one highly anticipated and, but for the most part, universally loved entry in a franchise like Deadpool that everyone loves, and bringing in Wolverine into the MCU, well, Deadpool in the MCU as well. So, anticipated movie, and a lot of stakes here for being the only movie that Marvel is dropping. So, Matt, I'll throw it over to you first. What were your thoughts on Deadpool and Wolverine when you saw it in theaters or wherever you saw it?
Yeah, first off, it's been no surprise Marvel's gone downhill ever since Avengers Endgame, and we haven't gotten anything that, I think Guardians 3 would be my favorite after Avengers Endgame. There hasn't been much that I've enjoyed. When Deadpool and Wolverine came out, I rushed to the theater to see it because I like the Deadpool 1 and 2. I like Ryan Reynolds. I love Hugh Jackman, especially as Wolverine, because him and Logan I thought it's a masterpiece of a movie. So this was the next movie. He's playing Wolverine. He said he wouldn't do it again, but he's back for this one. I had a blast with this movie. In terms of entertainment value, maybe 10 out of 10 just for entertainment. Not a dull moment for me because full spoilers, guys, obviously on everything we're going to talk about. I liked all the cameos and all the guest appearances of past superheroes and villains that showed up in this movie. I stayed away from all the trailers and threads and comment sections just to have no spoilers for me, Eric. So I was pleasantly surprised to see Gambit and all those other people that I love. From the comics. The movie isn't perfect, okay? It's really, I think you said it best in your Letterboxd review. The highs are high, but it has some lows too, right? It's not consistently, the pacing isn't consistent. But overall, my opening thoughts, thoroughly enjoyed it. Great entertainment. What about you, Eric?
Yeah, I liked it as well, to be honest. I think overall, I do remember in the theater having a smile on my face at many moments, laughing a lot. That was definitely a takeaway where I did find a lot of the humor funny. I liked the rated R, first time we get an MCU product that allows for the constant F-bombs, the crossing the lines in terms of jokes, and then the graphic violence that you're allowed to get with the rated R rating.
Yeah.
And the chemistry between Wolverine and Deadpool was top notch. Those are probably my favorite scenes in the movie is when they have two fights, if I'm remembering correctly. One when they get to the void, and then the other in that Kia Odyssey. Is that even a car? I think they're not
Odyssey, yeah.
Hyundai Odyssey. Yeah, they have the car fight scenes, fantastic. And but yeah, my complaint with it was with the plot. I wasn't that crazy about.
Mm.
That being said, it has been added on Disney Plus a few days ago, and I did start it up last night. I watched the first 40 minutes again. Knowing where it goes, I find I'm being a little less critical of it. Where I'm at, they just got to the void. So far, I'm enjoying it maybe a bit more than I was the last time, but I think my problems started when they got to the void. And the plot
Mm.
that they chose to present was what I had a bit of an issue with. But no, great cameos. I think not over the top, even though there was a ton of them, they were tastefully handled. And they were used, they were crucial to the plot. For example, having my boy Pyro be there, he
Mm.
could have easily just been like a 2-bit character, like kind of like Johnny Storm was. Chris Evans playing that character. It was great. But Pyro is actually a B villain the whole movie, so I liked how they used him. And then you get the X4, like the squad of Gambits, like you said, Blade,
Electra.
Elektra, and then Laura from Logan.
That's right.
So loved her getting in there. Yeah, no, there's a lot of good stuff in there overall. I guess main critique is the plot, and there's
Mm.
some stuff I would have cut. So I'll see on second viewing if I still feel the same about what I would have cut. But like all the Deadpools, I
Yeah.
think that was an unnecessary add-on. To be honest, I think
Okay.
like that scene, it basically they come back. They're out of the void.
Yeah.
I feel like the story really should have ended once they escaped the void. And for some reason, Cassandra, they spared her. Now, I know I'm jumping to the end there, but
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like it could have been better if the plot ended as soon as they get out of the void. And then maybe they just deal with Mr. Paradox. And you don't have Cassandra leaving the void and then trying to. I don't even remember what she tries to do. Like, she tries to prune the timeline and gain a lot of power. It just, because you know it's going to end that she dies anyways, right? So it's just needless plot addition, in my opinion. All of that.
I don't disagree with you, Eric. Honestly, like this story could have been condensed in like a 30-minute cartoon episode. Like there's not much to the story because there's a lot like the movie's peppered with the two Deadpool Wolverine fights, which are like the highlight. Like there was a lot of style in this movie, not a lot of substance, but the style was freaking like 10 out of 10. Like I said, entertainment. Who didn't like fist pump when Wolverine came out in his yellow original OG suit and put the mask on and fought everyone. But you're right, the story is lackluster. It's not. It's more to showcase Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't even explain to you what happened at the end because I forget too. I don't know when they're both like holding hands and like supporting each other. Like there's some epic moments, but like if you look under the surface, it's like there's not much substance at all. To the movie, but that begs the question: should our superhero movies be more like Deadpool and Wolverine, or should they be more like story-driven, Winter Soldier style, right? More like intrigue and stuff like that. We can talk about that later if you want. In fact, I think the two shows that we're going to be talking about have to me. There's we'll get into it when we get into it, but I find like one show had a great story, one show had a more like predictable story. But anyways, we'll get into that after. I don't know if I'm excited I'm in a rush to rewatch Deadpool and Wolverine, to be honest, Eric.
Mhm.
I had a good time with it. I have to be in the right mood to pop this on, like maybe with an audience and we can, I don't know if I'd be watching this movie alone. I don't know. Like you're rewatching it. You said it is a little like better paced the second time, Eric, or more enjoyable.
So far, I'm rewatching it because I want to like it more,
You
to
didn't
be
finish
honest.
it.
Like, I want to bump this up to like maybe a 4-star rating if it merits it. But now that I think of it again, it's like maybe it'll stay at 3.5 or maybe even goes down because the more I'm thinking about it now, I don't think the ending was good at all. Like I think
Yeah.
the whole point of this movie is it starts off Wade wants to be an Avenger. Like that's his purpose in life. Is like he says I need this. I want to be important. And then Happy tells him like the Avengers don't do the job because they need this. They do it because other people need them. And that's kind of the difference. And if I'm remembering it well, I think at the end of the movie, I guess maybe that's the whole point of his sacrifice with the big machine there. is that he's sacrificing himself so that everyone else can live, and truly does become the hero, that he fulfills that Avengers type um, behavior that he
Hmm.
may not have done earlier in the movie when he was kind of just focused on himself. So in
True.
that sense, you get the growth, but I feel like you also could have gotten all that growth in the void, and then by the time he and Logan get out, they both have moved on from their demons and grow from it as superheroes, and are then better able to yeah, serve the, I don't know, the sacred timeline or whatever, because our Wolverine starts off, he's a bum, like he's called the worst Wolverine basically by
Yeah.
Mr. Paradox. So I don't know, I feel like all the growth could and should have happened in the void, and then we just got an extra 20 or even 30 minutes tacked on at the end there, because why not? Like maybe some of it was decent action, but I think it again drags on, wasn't necessary, and in my opinion brings it down a notch. Did you like the villain also, by the way, Cassandra, Charles's sister?
I didn't mind her actually. She's a little overpowered, but I mean, so is Charles. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't mind her, but here's what I didn't like. I didn't like that like people like my girlfriend Mackenzie. Like she doesn't follow up with every new MCU thing, so like she's thoroughly confused by anything TVA related, timeline related. Like this movie, you have to have caught up with everything else, which it's the strength and the weakness of the MCU, right? Like if the MCU is weak in a weak state, nobody's gonna watch everything. So then your next movie, you got to be careful how much you pepper in there. And I felt like this one would have maybe confused the casual fan, even with Cassandra. Like if you don't know who Charles is,
Mm.
like we have all the X-Men knowledge, right? And we understand the background. Now, this movie is catered to the comic book fan. I'm a comic book movie lover, so I got all the references and characters. But this movie doesn't do a good job as a good job to catering to like the normies, you know, the ones that, oh, it's a Ryan Reynolds Deadpool movie, we're gonna go see it, but like has no backstory on anything. Maybe the play is just to not cater to those people and just cater to us, me and you, Eric, right, who's watched the back catalog. Cassandra was a fine villain, nothing great, nothing memorable, like nothing, like
Mm-hmm.
she was mid, you know, like
Yeah.
was there to do her job, nothing crazy. Her like whole like Mad Max Fury Road like domain thing, that was kind of cool at first. Seeing again like all the cameos just elevate the movie for me, but like under the surface, there's not much there for substance. I don't know. It's all like it's very flashy this movie, but I can't like keep rewatching it. I don't know if there's much there,
Yeah.
unless you enjoy just watching Ryan Reynolds do his thing, right? And he's great at it, and I can watch him in any movie. But he's very the same. He's the same in every movie he's in, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought
Yeah.
I thought the villain was all right, to be honest. And again, that's another thing where maybe will like her a bit more second go around. I am again like there were some weird scenes with her. I found like her delivery was like bit
Mm,
off, annoying character I found, but and yeah,
okay.
OP. But you're right, Charles is overpowered as well. And yeah, to your point about having to follow up with everything, I mean, this one really you had to be aware of Loki. I think is the big one you had to have seen. And yeah, if you haven't seen all the
For
movies, yeah,
sure.
cameos you won't get, but I mean there's not that much you can do um, there. And thankfully, if you don't get them, it's just like it's another character that's there, right? And it's for those who know who it is. Like then you get to appreciate it more. So I don't think it's a deal breaker for in that sense, but and for the third movie in the Deadpool trilogy
Mm,
now, I think you can afford to maybe shake things up a bit instead of just the low stakes, a confined universe, because they're also trying to expand this multiverse saga as well with this movie. So trying to push that
right.
plot forward, which like where is that going at this point? Who knows? I mean,
Right.
it's kind of bringing us. I guess this movie does a good job in that sense of introducing Deadpool. Like he knows now that he's gonna have a crossover with Thor at some point. He's crying and dying in his arms, and we'll see if that ever comes up to on the screen there. And Wolverine is
Right.
reformed, ready to go. But yeah, overall, if you don't think about it too much, it's a pretty solid movie. But
Hmm.
I wanted just a tad more out of it, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's kind of my
Like the top tier Marvel movies, right, Eric? Like
yeah.
the
Especially
yeah.
given the fact that it's our only Marvel movie this year, right?
Mm,
Like not to skip ahead to next year, but just looking at the lineup, it's like Captain America, Thunderbolts, and then Fantastic Four. I would say I'm just excited for Fantastic Four really because
yeah.
those are big names. I could somehow see Thunderbolts ends up being the best one of them all though, like the one you least expect with a random
Yeah.
Suicide Squad esque group of characters. Like Ghost is gonna become a fan favorite somehow.
Like
Taskmaster is gonna
yeah.
be like a fan favorite going forward. Like who the hell knows? I
Yeah.
think Captain America is gonna be ass too. Like I think that's gonna be
Ooh.
a
Okay.
bad movie. Just I don't know. Anyways, not to jump too much ahead there, but all that to say, I was looking forward to Deadpool and Wolverine, two superheroes I love. Like you said, Wolverine, one of my favorites with Hugh Jackman all time. So again, I think those two did great. But to your point about Ryan Reynolds, I'm kind of getting a bit tired of like I don't want to
Mm,
see everything that he's in because I feel like it's starting to lose a bit of its appeal in that it's always the
right.
same, you know, and it's sure you're going to get some funny lines, but it's becoming a bit repetitive.
Absolutely. Um, I like to your point on the multiverse and all that. That's the future, or that's what they want to present as a future. I like they've done since 2008. We've gone great Marvel movies of like the Earth is in peril, then the universe is in peril, aliens are coming down. Like they have to keep. It's almost like they keep upping the ante, and now it's all about different timelines and stuff, and bringing characters from different timeline. I guess they're trying to grow in that way, but maybe dialing it back isn't such a bad idea, and maybe Brave New World will be really good because it's going to be more like Winter Soldier or Civil War, more ground level type stuff. I'm excited to see Harrison Ford in a Marvel movie. I'm not going to
Yeah.
lie, um, but filling Chris Evans' shoes is going to be really hard. Thunderbolts, no idea what it is. It's going to be the new Guardians of the Galaxy. Hopefully,
Could
at
be.
best, it's the new Guardians of the Galaxy. At worst, it's an Eternals.
Yeah. Freak.
And yeah, super excited for Fantastic Four because those characters are really cool. I used to play like the Fantastic Four video game. Like I really am attached to those characters. I even like those shitty movies because I saw them in the theater when I was a kid. Excited for that. Next year is gonna be a big year for Marvel, man. If those three movies are just like mid, like or like worse, it's gonna might be the fatal blow, honestly. Or it
So
might take more to get the fatal blow, right, Eric? I don't know.
I don't even know if we'll ever get the fatal blow, to be honest, because it feels like we were in that era of like we're not that interested in Marvel anymore. Look at the slate this year. We had X-Men '97, which we discussed, pleasantly surprised, very good.
Yeah,
Deadpool Wolverine, we're like, oh my god, can't wait for this. In my opinion, I was a bit disappointed by it, but it's still a lot to like out
a
of
lot of
it.
money it made. Yeah.
And then we can just dive right into the next show, Agatha All
Okay.
Along. Were you excited at all to see this show? Like going into it, was it even something that you were like, I'm not even gonna watch this, based on Marvel's track record recently?
Based on their track record of TV shows, I have no interest in watching this. I watched episode 1 and 2 and stopped. And thankfully, you told me I should watch it. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna tell you right now, I thoroughly enjoyed Agatha All Along. It was a nice surprise. I wasn't bored a second watching it. No, we'll get into it now.
Yeah,
But I had no interest beforehand because of the She-Hulks and Miss Marvels and all those shows.
exactly.
Although I like Loki season 1 and 2,
Mm-hmm.
which Agatha veers more towards WandaVision and Loki season 1 and 2, thankfully, and not the She-Hulk way. I thoroughly enjoyed the show, but yeah, like you said, Eric, wasn't excited at all. What about you?
Same thing. I think we did the exact same thing. I watched episodes 1 and 2. I turned it off halfway through the circle they were in, singing down, down, down the road, down the witch's road. I was like, what the hell are we doing here? Like I was like, this is a joke, a sick joke. By the end of the show, that song stuck in my head, and I'm singing. It's one of my favorite songs of the year. I really enjoyed this show. It's for sure. Moon Knight was pretty good, but I think this is better than Moon Knight in terms of the story, the twists along the way, the element of mystery, acting. This is a yeah, top 3 Marvel show in my opinion, to be honest. With Loki and WandaVision, it's
Mm.
exactly along the lines of WandaVision in that you're presented something where it's a head scratcher the whole time. You're kind of thinking like, all right, what's going on? Where's this winding road leading us? There's a lot that I liked out of the show, to be honest. In that Catherine Hahn, great character as
Mm.
Agatha, to be honest, and she was great
Yeah.
in WandaVision, and which ironically is a show that when that was announced, there's little to no excitement for on my end, anyways, and I ended up
Yeah.
loving it because of that mysterious element and how every episode had something unique with the new sets, new costumes. This show really followed in that mold, in that our characters, every time they'd get to a new checkpoint along the road, they're dripped out in like 70s attire. It's a pajama party one night. Okay,
Hmm.
we're going Wicked Witch of the West drip. Like, I thought
Yeah.
that was a big plus in how they kept things fresh and
Hmm.
peeling back layers of things are not as they seem. Who's pulling the strings all along? Did not see that coming whatsoever.
Yeah.
With the teen, like I thought that was
Yeah.
fantastic reveal how they told that story, and with the I have to pull up these people's names there. Um, the older woman, the older witch there, Lilia or
Lilia.
something like that. Yeah, she was
Yeah.
fantastic. How her lines were kind of just said out of nowhere, seemingly out of the blue. Like her episode was the best one. I think it was episode
I like
7, 6 or
uh
7.
7. Yeah.
It's fantastic. Anyways, all that to say, back to Catherine Hahn. She was hilarious. Almost every episode, she had me cracking up once for sure. When Deborah Jo Rupp, I think her name was Shannon. She dies like, at the end of one of the episodes, and then someone says, "Who Shannon's dead." She goes, "Who's Shannon?" And that cracked me up. She just kept calling her like her last her Mrs. whatever. But no, big fan of the show.
Me too. Like you mentioned Moon Knight, I found that was convoluted and slower paced, glacially paced. But Agatha All Along, episode lengths were perfect. Like they did a good job of having tight pacing, not having any unnecessary things. I didn't know where the show was going, and when we get the reveals in the later episodes, I'm like, oh my god, that's so smart. Like you only have like full spoilers right now, guys. Like
Yeah.
we're diving right in. Like when you look at Teen's room or Billy's room,
Mm.
like it all makes sense. It's like, oh, of course. Um, what I liked, okay, my favorite thing about this is the folklore aspect, the mythical like witches lore. I love that stuff. It's really cool going back to like where Agatha started it all and what she would like you find out more about her story. That's really cool stuff to me. I love the whole trial aspect too, Eric. Different obstacles. Yeah, were they all fabrications of Billy? Absolutely, you find that out. But were they cool to watch like in real time, like when they were going through them? Absolutely, it was really fresh. Episode 3, we got that house on the beach, and there's like the tarot card trial. There's the one in the room with like the purple light counting down, the pajama party. Like there's some musical segments in the show that honestly I didn't mind at all, Eric. I was like vibing with it. All the ladies did a great job. I like Jennifer, Lilia, Alice. Like they were all great. The Lilia episode, came back to that one. That might have been the best episode. Like the whole going, it had Inception like moments, right, Eric? With the
Yeah.
fourth dimension, like she's seeing her whole life at once. That was really cool. Not gonna lie. Like you said, it might be the best episode. Like, did that not just floor you? Like this show went to this level, Eric?
Oh, absolutely. Episode by episode, I was enjoying it more, and then it peaked there where I was like, "Wow, this is what a way to tell a story and an episode using time travel to perfectly." It's not an easy thing to do. It can come off as corny or sloppy at times, but this was not that whatsoever. I found, yeah, fourth dimension, interstellar style, just phenomenal stuff to see. I was a big fan, and that's another thing. Another pro for this show is that they weren't afraid to kill off characters. I think most of our ladies get clipped at one point. Jennifer Kale, her end is, I think she makes it out, and who knows
Yeah,
what she's up to, but most of the others get killed along the way. So
that's right.
they're that right away upped the stakes. As soon as they killed off Mrs. Hart, aka Shannon, that's when I knew, okay, they're not afraid to pull punches, and any of these people could go at any time, including Teen, who again I never ever would have guessed that he was Wanda Maximoff's son, Billy. Great reveal. With again all the little hints that they drop along the way. Agatha saying, "You're so much like your mother" in episode
Yeah,
3, something along those lines, and we're like, "Whoa, who's her
yeah.
mother?" Obviously, they're kind of pushing the narrative that she is her mother. I don't know if you had that impression, Matt, or I thought they're steering us down that direction to think that
Mm.
she was his mother, and I definitely could have bought that, but never would have guessed Wanda. And how they told that, his flashback episode was one of the better ones as well. Great
I
episode.
agree. Yeah, I agree.
He was really good. He was a
Um,
very good character.
yeah, I wasn't sure about him at first, Eric, but he grew on me a lot. And
Agreed.
that's like the car crash and
Yeah.
like Billy goes into his body and he can read minds. Like imagine that, like his parents are thinking, or he can read all of their thoughts. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I like how they do. I like when movies and shows do that, right? Like showing what happened in episode 1, but from his perspective. That was a big, again, stuff that keeps the pacing really tight in the show. Like you're not bored, stuff like that. Episode 1, I wasn't sure where the show was heading, right? Like she's living in this. She thinks she's a detective and stuff. Are people just humoring her, like the murder case? I didn't know where we were going with that, but I love how it ended. Also, the Aubrey Plaza. Yeah, as Rio, aka Death. Like she was pretty look wise. She was perfect for that role. And I thought she was a cool character. Again, the best thing the show did was it kept my attention the whole time. It wasn't boring. There was always something going on. Even the last episode it doesn't end like super epically or like giant climactic showdown. It's very like, here's the conclusion. This is what we're doing now. I kind of like that. It wasn't like super bombastic or anything, but I didn't mind that at all. There was more just revelations and like, oh, now rewatching the show, you get a different perspective, right? No, really, Eric, this show, like when you texted me like, okay, watch this show, it's actually like, I'm enjoying it. I was like, all right. I mean, I trust your opinion a lot, Eric. So I pretty much knew I was going to enjoy it too. And I enjoyed it even more than I thought I would, which is great with the show, right? You go in with low expectations and you get blown away. Isn't the case for the Penguin? Like that one, I had high expectations, and we'll get into that later. We'll dissect that, but thoroughly enjoyable show. Cool characters, right? All the women did a great job. I didn't get a hint of like Marvel being like, oh, we'll do a show with just women just to do it. Like they actually like put some thought and production value in this show, and it wasn't just like let's just do a show with all women and see how it goes, right? They did a fantastic job, and it ends up being one of the best shows in the MCU. Like I agree with what you said earlier, Eric. Yeah.
All very well handled, and again, yeah, great conclusion. There's like your classic, I guess, Marvel showdown at the end between Death and Billy and Agatha. I think she maybe gets in the action a little bit, but which is a complaint some people had about WandaVision. Is like, oh, of course it has to end with a little battle in the sky, but it was great.
Right.
WandaVision, and it worked here as well. I was a fan. And yeah, the last episode mostly focuses on the backstory for Agatha and where the Witch's Road comes from. So I love them handling the last episode that way, more like you said, reveal style than big action set piece. And maybe that, to your point of earlier, what should Marvel content look like? Obviously with the show, it's a bit different. In movies you do want big action, but some of these shows anyways, like Agatha, are showing that you don't necessarily need all out action to be entertaining. And
Exactly.
it might not be that crazy to say that I think I enjoyed this more than Deadpool overall, in that it kept me hooked, intrigued. I binged this show. I wanted to know what was going to happen, which I never in a million years would have thought coming into this year, when Agatha All Along is a show that I'm maybe looking forward to, and Deadpool and Wolverine's a movie that I can't wait to go see opening night kind of thing. So Anyways, they both have their different strengths, and they're both praiseworthy in their own way. But I think overall, this one had a better execution and would get slightly higher marks in my books. So I would love to see a second season of this show too. To be honest,
Yeah,
they open the door to
me
that
too.
at the end, right? So it's a possibility. Like I said,
Yeah, this show is. Yeah,
no,
sorry,
go ahead.
Eric.
I was done. I was done.
I didn't mean to cut you off. Yeah, this show was stimulating my brain. You know, it was thought provoking. That's what I love. I can't say the same about the Penguin, to be honest. Like, it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't tickling my brain as much on a story basis, but I know I'm teasing the Penguin so much right now, but we'll get into that shortly. No, this show was more thought provoking. That's my type of jam. Like, this is what we want out of the MCU. We want shows like Loki and WandaVision, not the She-Hulk route, you know,
Mm-hmm.
or Captain America and the Winter Soldier, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Um, but yeah, no, I hope, honestly, let's just talk about Marvel before we get into DC. Like, I hope this is what I hope Marvel goes the way more of the Agatha All Along path than the Deadpool and Wolverine path. For the simple reason that I want to be more stimulated by the story and the substance than the flashy style and action, you know? We got that with Infinity War. We got story and great action. I know I keep saying praising Infinity War, but it really is the best MCU movie. That movie had both. That's where I hope our path leads to. Not the Ant-Man and not Ant-Man 3 path. You know, we
Absolutely
want
not.
Agatha All Along. I wouldn't even mind a movie with less action but more story, like Agatha All Along. That'd be cool. Um, is it what Marvel's going to do? Or do you think, like, the audience? Do you think most the average Marvel MCU viewer, or do you think he would like Agatha All Along, like more stuff like that, or do you think he wants more Deadpool and Wolverine stuff?
I think I honestly I agree with you. I would love to see a movie kind of follow this sort of structure more style over just brainless action, stupid plot. Universe is gonna end. We need to just defuse the ticking time bomb with a second left. But no, I think that is not what the average viewer wants. I think we want that because we're also a bit older now, and I think kids under like definitely under 14 years old would hate movies that follow this sort of structure.
Mm,
They need the Deadpool and Wolverine cutting through a bunch of Deadpools at the
mm.
end of Deadpool and Wolverine. That might have been their favorite part of the movie. I hated that part of the movie. So I think the average fan is more on that wave. I kind of think it has to do
Mm.
with what kind of content do you like to consume also. We're more on the side of you and I, definitely you more than me because you've seen more movies than me, but we enjoy a nice drama, an Oscar pick, an Honora, if you will. Those kind
Yeah,
of movies, not necessarily your Marvel clientele right there, right? But no, I would
right.
sign me up yesterday for a nice hour and 45-minute Marvel movie where maybe there's some sort of murder mystery and Daredevil's trying to. No, I mean Daredevil. We want to see him do a bit of action there, but I don't need the
Yeah.
constant third act big set piece action. To be honest,
Well said, Eric.
yeah,
Well, I'm totally agree with everything you've said. Yeah. But, like, look at the age demographic, right?
it's insane.
They have such short attention spans these days, the younger people. So it's kind of depressing to see.
It's TikTok
Marvel's.
culture with Marvel.
That's right. No, seriously. Like, if there's nothing happening in like 8 minutes of screen time, it's like we got to throw something in there. And I know some movies have calculations like that. Oh, we need something at every X amount of time. So, yeah. Oh well. Also, last question. Maybe before we talk about Penguin, unless you have more stuff, but like, is rated R the way to go for Marvel, Eric, or PG? I mean, PG are opening to way more like ticket sales,
Yeah.
but rated R movies do well too. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
So
The
I mean that's gonna
ratings.
be a nice segue into Penguin as well in DC's future. But for Marvel, I think again it's always the lighter tones. It's you kind of have to stick to PG with Marvel because then you're losing your core audience, right? So again, I think that's where it's a nice duality between DC and Marvel. While I enjoyed more Deadpool Wolverine rated R, and I would go see every Marvel movie if it was rated R. I don't think that's the play for them long term because your core audience is younger. So as much as I would love
Okay.
it, I don't think that's the play. But for DC, I think that's the play. And now let's just dive into the
Yeah.
show that you brought up 10 times, the Penguin. Because Penguin was phenomenal. I'll just say right off the hop, for me, anticipated show. I said it a few episodes ago. I saw that it got a very bad rating from IGN, 5 out of 10, which since the show is now done, everyone is bringing that old take up and just dunking on it, clowning it, because for me this is one of my favorite shows of the year, in that take the Penguin, Oz, from the Batman, which I love that they picked up kind of right after the movie finishes. The crime world is, there's a power vacuum. The crown is for the taking. Alberto, the son of Falcone, is the heir apparent. He gets clipped in the first 10 minutes of this first episode. So right away it sets the tone for Oz is going to do what it takes, and he wants the crown basically. So don't really know what the best way to start this discussion off is, but I'll just say my opening thoughts on it. I was a big fan of this show. Dialed in it was a put your phone away kind of show.
Yeah.
Do not disturb, silence on, 60 minutes, focused. And I don't think I was disappointed in any of the episodes. Every time I was like, it flew by, I wanted more. And I think top to bottom, great start, great finish. Can't wait for the Batman Part 2 and what it tees up. But Colin Farrell, phenomenal. If he doesn't win Best Actor limited series, it's a clear bias against superhero genre
Right.
in this category. Same goes for Kristen Milioti as Sofia Falcone, aka Sofia Gigante. She has to win also Best Actress in a limited series. So those are my opening thoughts. Phenomenal show. Want more like this. What about you?
My opening thoughts are honestly, like, I love the show too, Eric. Every episode I watched flew by, like hour-long episode, like flew by for me. On a technical level, like, it's HBO, 10 out of 10. Acting, the set design, everything. The show looked great. I just have a couple minor gripes with some story stuff, but honestly, I loved watching this show. I like rooting for the bad guy. This show doesn't hide away. Like, this show, like, doesn't hold back. It was pretty brutal in some parts. This show's right up my alley. It's a gangster show at the end of the day, right, Eric?
Yeah.
I love gangsters. I love The Sopranos. My favorite movie is Goodfellas. Everything. I was just smiling on my face the whole time watching the show. Yes, Colin Farrell. I can't sing his praises enough. He was great. He will get an Emmy nod at the very least. I don't think he'll win because of what you said, Eric. The prejudice towards like superhero shows. Oh my God! All the side actors, even like Clancy Brown as Sal Moretti, and every side. Victor was great too. Everybody. The mom, Frances Cobb, the actress who played the mom, was phenomenal.
Yep.
The only actor I wasn't a fan of was Dr. Julian.
Agreed.
Jews from Sons of Anarchy. You tell me, Eric.
That was a clown, man. I actually hated his character. He has this like creepy aura about him. How he delivers his lines like, "So what are we doing, Sophia?" Like, I don't know. I wasn't about it at all. It was just, they easily could have cut his character out. I completely agree, but he was a goof. And at the end too, he's just back at Arkham. I didn't understand that at all. They're like, all right, I guess he was just on a sabbatical or something. He's like, I'm gonna need 3 weeks vacay, go plow. Anyways, but it was I wasn't a fan at all. Agreed. He was definitely my least favorite character, and thankfully we didn't get a whole lot of him, but.
No, thank God.
So normally in these kind of, like, I like getting into stuff that we didn't like in shows. You know me, I love a good rant, but I do want to highlight some stuff first before I do want to hear what your complaints were about the show, because I don't really have any, to be honest, about the plot anyways. I think they did a great job with Oz in that maybe I could see, maybe you're saying that he has like plot armor and he gets out of every situation unscathed for the most part, but I like that, you know, he did have to go through some struggles. He's a smooth talker. He works people. He says the right things and then betrays people at the last minute. For some reason, they don't see it coming, even though he's betrayed 20,000 other people before them. I don't know. But dynamic with him and Vic was great. I'll just jump right to the end with him. So Vic's progression, one thing that I liked a lot was at the start, this guy is a massive stutter. It's very pronounced. And even Oz kind of tells him like, hey, don't apologize for your what you perceive as a limitation. Lean into it. Even take all the space you need. Make people kind of just accept you as you are. And as the season goes on, Vic becomes more confident. By the end of the season, he doesn't have a stutter up until
Yeah.
the last scene where it kind of comes back a bit because he's getting a bit emotional. And I don't know how much we want to touch on Vic. I was kind of in my statement, anyway. I'll just wrap up what they did with him for what I thought.
Yeah. Do it.
Heartbreaking ending. Like I did not see that coming at all. I'm seeing some people say that they did see it coming that Oz would kill him. That was crazy for me, but it makes sense for a few reasons. One, Oz basically promised all of the number twos in the crime families the crown. So all the number twos killed the number ones, and Vic is Oz's number two. So it's only natural that he would maybe at some point come for him. But also I think the main point here is that Oz doesn't want to be limited by family, and then Vic calls him family. So he's like, you know what? I'm now realizing that my family is a weakness of mine. I will not allow this weakness in my life anymore. So I have to kill you. And the way he kills him was absolutely brutal. That like what
Yeah.
felt like a 3 minute long scene, just guillotine chokehold, brutal scene. I
Yeah.
felt so bad. I was looking forward to seeing a fully reformed villain Vic in like Batman 2, but I mean that's not happening. So yeah, rest in peace Vic, and he deserved better.
Yeah, Vic was one of the highlights of the shows for me. Loved the backstory episode we got on him. I was absolutely heartbroken that when he got choked out. And this is my complaint with that is I just feel like the showrunners were worried that we'd be cheering for Oz too much, cheering for the Penguin, cheering for villain. They're like, okay, let's bring it back down to like we hate him now. Like let's remind everyone that he's a villain. Even Colin Farrell said that I think in an interview. Like the way it ends, you're reminded that you were cheering for a villain. I think that's weak. I don't like that they had to do that to display that. We know he's a villain all along. Okay, he's killing people the whole show. I didn't like that they did that whatsoever, Eric. The man saved your life. Mm-hmm. One of the episode, like. Breaking Bad style, like crushes Sam Reddy's wife, I believe, or her guard. Anyways, I thought that was pretty weak. But you just brought up a couple good points that I didn't really think of because I was so blinded by my rage at like they just killed him off, so we think Oz is a villain again. Like we're just bringing back down to he's the ultimate bad guy. Mm-hmm. That's a good point. Maybe Vic would get too overcome, like he'd start taking over. I like that scene when all the number twos take over. That was a good part of the storytelling.
Agreed.
When I said I had minor complaints, it's every gangster show is predictable, right? Like you see where stuff's going. You talked about the plot armor. Of course, we know Penguin's not going to die. That was just a minor gripe with like we kind of know where it's going every episode. So even when like Sophia has Oz captured, we know he's going to get away. Stuff like that. I say it's a complaint. Like that's just the reality of a superhero show. We're gonna have stuff like that happen, right? Maybe they could have done a little more of the story. That was my complaint. Like they could have had it more like twists and turns and not have it so predictable. Is all. Because at the end of it, it's a gangster show. There's gonna be killings. There's gonna be power, like coup d'etats. Where someone takes power over the family. I did like the Falcone family dynamic in the first half of the show, like, the Johnny Vides and like what was going on with Sophia and handling of that. That was really cool. She totally gets fucked over by her dad, right? Like, how hurt were you for Sophia, Eric, when you find out she gets freaking framed for she's the hangman. She didn't even do a freaking thing. Like, how crushing was that to see, Eric?
Yeah, like her first kill came in Arkham when she attacked that, she killed that the short girl who was sitting next to her. Like she just bashes her head in with that tray. I felt
that's right.
I was gutted for Sophia. I was a huge fan of her character, to be honest, and I would have loved to see the team up of her and Penguin. But then that quickly, so that's where I think they did a good job in kind of giving us a few twists and turns in that it's looking like Sophia and Oz are going to work together. He immediately ditches her and then just kind of wants to seal her operation. So what she ends up doing is going back to her family and then killing all of them. So I thought that was well handled in that, okay, they're giving us a potential team up. No, okay, she's back with her family, kills her family, starts from scratch. Johnny Vitti, when she popped him at the table, I thought that was a great scene too. Like, it's looking like she's gonna kill him in the torture chamber. She's like, you know what? No, I'm gonna give you a shot. You can help me reestablish myself, and then just pops him there. I thought that was great. But no, Sophia, got brutal stuff for her. And then the team up with her and Sal, great. But I do agree, Penguin's getting out of every situation. Like when he's duct taped to a chair, he's going to go Hulk mode and break the chair and then grab the guard's gun, clip everybody, and then walk out without a scratch. But I kind of just looked past it, to be honest.
Okay.
And another thing in that, while yes, they use the Vic death as a reminder to be like, this is a bad dude, you shouldn't be rooting for him. There's also the stuff with his mother too, which was crazy. I found.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even know honestly how to fully process and analyze what their dynamic is specifically. In the last episode, when they're both in that clubhouse and they're threatening to cut her finger off, all he has to do is admit, yes, I got my two brothers killed, which was another solid point. I liked seeing how that unfolded, and it was kind of sketchy, to be honest. I wasn't that surprised when he said, "Oh, the city got him." It's like there's more to it than that. But anyways, so all he has to do is say, like, "Yeah, I'm responsible for my brother's death." His mom knows. Sophia's saying it, and he's unwilling to admit it. He keeps going, "No, Mom, you're crazy. The pills, they're messing with your head," and they're freaking about to cut her finger off with a cigar cutter, and he will not back down. And even Sophia's like, "Holy shit, dude! Like, you're gonna let us cut your mom's finger off?" We all know. Even when the mom says, "I know," he still denies it. So it's a strange vibe that they had between. He loved his mom. He wants all of her attention. Clearly, that's why he got his brothers killed. Is that he wants her all to himself, but he on some level doesn't love her and he hates her. He's keeping her alive at the end of the show, when he should mercy kill her. To be honest, Daenerys to Khal Drogo style. She's a goddamn vegetable out there. So, and then he gets the stripper, the prostitute, to dress as his mom. Calls her mom, says, "Tell me you're proud of me. I'm the king of the city. Tell me you love me." Crazy, creepy vibe. So, exactly. Is it just the Vic killing that makes you despise him, or all that other stuff too that makes him a kind of a sicko? The show ends on that note, right? Like you can't, even if he hadn't killed Vic, I wonder what our perception of him would have been if we're watching this guy dance in a room. He's keeping his mom alive because he wants her praise, and then he's dancing with some woman dressed up as his mom and wants her to tell him how proud of him she is. Like, it was some sick, twisted shit.
There's some really sick Freudian shit in this show between him and his mom, and like that you could write an essay on Francis and Oz Cobb, like their dynamic. That might have been one of the best scenes in the show, when he's like, I totally believe Oz when he's saying, "No, I didn't do it." Like, don't listen to the mom. I didn't do it. Like, he's so convincing. He believes his own lies, and maybe he's convinced himself so hard that he did nothing wrong with his brothers that he believes everything he's saying. That's what I love about the Penguin character. He can persuade. He's got Hannibal Lecter almost styles of persuasion with the way he talks. It's crazy. Like I enjoy. That's what I enjoyed the most out of this show, was watching Colin Farrell as the Penguin, just spitting dialogue and talking. Great screenwriting right there. Yeah. And I don't pretend to know like everything that's going on in Oz's head, Eric. Honestly, like, he's demented, but he's a freaking cockroach. He will not die. He can survive anything. This guy, like the car bombing, like he's bolts in that tunnel super fast, seals himself in, survives. Like, he's unkillable, and I like that about him. He's a survivor. When I say like I like cheering for a villain up to a certain extent, right? But like, at the end of the day, I want Batman to win over him. Anyways, this show's about the Penguin. He's a freaking survivor, and at the end of the day, who wins? He does.
Yeah.
If you're an Oz guy, you should be happy with the ending. He got what he wanted. The journey was wild, how he got everything, but crazy stuff. The mom and him and his mom's dynamic, I really enjoyed watching that on screen. It was cool. You know, it made me think of the other Joker movie, right, with Joaquin Phoenix, Arthur, and his mom. There was a lot of like similarities there. Keeps her alive at the end. Is that a punishment, a reward? Like, does he actually believe everything he's saying? Some people, Eric, I know you've met them, like they believe their lies, right? Friggin' like Guy Pearce in Memento. You repeat them enough times and you've convinced yourself that no, it's not a problem or everything's fine. Maybe Vic was a distraction, right? He didn't want to deal with that. Like, he's like, Vic got too close, time to get rid of him. He's very pragmatic, right? He doesn't think about emotions. He thinks about what's best for himself. The ends justify the means. He's like a perfect little dictator, right? Like, he doesn't get attached to anything. Love watching him run like the drug crime scene and all the dealings with the other families. Loved watching that dynamic.
Yeah.
Playing playing Sal and his wife along, like telling them what they want to hear and then doing something else, and then they're coming back to him like, hey, you said this, and he always has something to say. Frag, I love that, Eric. Yeah, Colin Farrell was great. I don't know what else to say on it other than like superb screenwriting, acting, the setting. He's on top at the end. Now we want to know what's going to happen in the next movie. I'm super excited for it. Did you like that last shot, like the very last shot, Eric?
Oh yeah, I mean, I saw it coming a mile away. Like, that was, as soon as they start panning out more and more, I'm like, all right, bat signal's going up. It was unreal though. It fired me up, and it made me wish. Now Batman Part 2 is coming out next year. Unfortunately, it's 2026, end of the year as well, October. But skyrocketed to the top of my list for most anticipated movie of 26, right? So I can't wait to see Oz again as the Penguin. Well, again, like you said, I will not be rooting for him, most likely, in that movie. I'm going to be going for Batman. He was more of a comedic presence in the Batman the movie. I just rewatched it not that long ago. In this, though, you really get to, and that's the beauty of having the show format, you get into the mindset of the character, and with a lot of background, like also want to highlight the kid who played him as a kid was fantastic. Like, he looked like Oz, he kind of looked like Colin Farrell's Penguin, and had the mannerisms down, smooth talking 11-year-old with the funky leg. Like, he was just wheeling and dealing out there with Rex Calabrese about to get popped in the limo. Who knows how that plays out when the mom doesn't give him the signal. But anyways, yeah, Batman Part 2. This show ends with, yeah, you're an Oz guy. You should be happy because he wins. But I don't know. I wasn't that happy for him in the end. And again, at the start of the show, I had a feeling the show ends with him. He is the Kingpin. So it was it was predictable that it ended this way. It's just the journey. No idea how that would have played out. And didn't know how sick this guy was in the head and the crazy depths of the mommy issues. They are real, let me tell you. So, nope. Great stuff. Couldn't have asked for more out of this show. I love, like you said, seeing the mob stuff, the drug deals, the ruby shrooms, the Groudon, all that stuff. It was good stuff. And then we got some decent action, like the mom and daughter lit ablaze was pretty crazy. The Maronis. I liked whatever that guy's name is, his portrayal of Sal Maroni. I liked him. It was solid, big boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's kind of it for me, too. It's going to be funny now, though, seeing Penguin in Batman Part 2 without the rated R. I think that's something that, like I said earlier, I feel like they should lean into fully and make that the Matt Reeves Batman universe, really go dark with that. But I think, again, it's for the same reason you're cutting off a bit of your audience. So I still think it has the vibe of like a 14A rated R movie. The Batman does, and it's rated PG-13.
Yeah.
So we can still get close to what we got in the Penguin in terms of the dialogue. You just don't no F-bombs there. It's no big deal. The dialogue's still good in the Batman there. I'm not saying it's necessary. You don't want to go full Peacemaker either. So I think Penguin, yeah, a lot of strengths. Like this could win best miniseries, best screenwriting in a miniseries. It's I also don't watch many other miniseries, right? So, but this was really really good. Not a letdown at all.
This, if anything, this show bolsters the interest and the impact of the Batman too, because we have way more backstory on Oz now, so it just makes the movie that much better already. Which I love when they do that. They're setting up the second movie with this show. Love that. Yeah.
So now looking ahead though at DC, we have the Batman Part 2 in 2026. And I think the next DC product is like Peacemaker Season 2, which is part of James Gunn's verse. And then in 2026, there's the James Gunn Superman movie as well. So not that much in terms of movies and even shows for 2025 for DC. Marvel we already talked about. They have a ton of stuff coming out next year. Today, Matt, which franchise are you more optimistic about and are looking forward to their products more? Marvel or DC?
Honestly, I think I'd still say I'm excited for Marvel. Just because of the Fantastic Four stuff and the Robert Downey Jr. reappearance. I think I like Marvel at the end of the day, their movies and shows more. I haven't watched all the DC stuff, but like I haven't seen Peacemaker. So basically, in my head, it's basically the James Gunn now show, James Gunn show versus Marvel, and I think I don't know, Eric. I don't know if I have total faith in James Gunn for Superman and all that stuff. There's been like a new Superman movie every 5 to 10 years, and like they might be overkilling it here. Marvel still has some interesting cards to play, like Fantastic Four, and I have more hope for that than the James Gunn Superman movie. If I'm being truthful, I have more hope for Marvel. You've seen Peacemaker, you can elaborate more on that. But like the James Gunn Superman, I don't know. I'm getting Superman fatigue sometimes. Cavill was really great. I don't even know who this new guy is. This is in 2 years' time. Maybe the hype will build up and get me excited, Eric. But right now, I'm in Camp Marvel for excitement level for 2025.
I mean, I'm obviously gonna see everything that Marvel drops, but like I said, I'm not that excited for Captain America. I'm calling right now Thunderbolts ends up being my favorite of these three next year. And then I think I'll enjoy Fantastic Four because I like all the actors and I am looking forward to these movies, don't get me wrong. I do think though that just with a few things like the Penguin, the Batman, I mean Peacemaker is all right. Like I enjoyed it, but I'm not that crazy about it. I'm going DC here because I feel like and it comes back to the point that you said earlier, post Endgame, there's only been a handful of things I've really, really enjoyed. And hey, I watch it all. Overall, I can say, yeah, this was pretty good. This show is all right. I really like this one. But DC, I feel like with this rebrand that they're doing, they're giving James Gunn the creative control, and he has delivered on the Suicide Squad. I love that movie. Peacemaker Season 1 was, like I said, pretty good. I think the Superman now is his chance. Like, he can't drop the ball in that one. If that one hits, it's like, all right, we're rolling here. And I have full trust in Matt Reeves with his Batman universe. 2 for 2 so far. Love what he's putting forward, and I hope that stays completely separate from whatever James Gunn wants to do. Give us this dark, street level, psychological character study because they announce other shows. Well, they haven't announced anything, but they're saying they want to do more of these shows like the Penguin with other Batman villains as well. So there's a rumor now that Joker might get his own show in between Batman 2 and 3, and then he would be the villain in Batman 3. Imagine if that happens. And now, speaking of fatigue, Joker fatigue is definitely a thing. You just watched Fight at Dirt, and I mean, there was the freaking, what's his face there, Jared Leto Joker, which is a travesty.
Yeah.
Then we had, I mean, we're not that far removed from Heath Ledger Joker still. So there is a bit of Joker overdoing it, but in this format, like an 8-episode HBO quality show, I'm all over that. And that's why I'm casting my vote DC. I think Zack Snyder's a thing of the past, a relic. Don't even bring his name up again. I might mute his name after I say that. but I think we're in good hands in DC, and it's kind of rolling the dice here. We haven't seen that much, but we've seen a lot of Marvel and have been disappointed time and time again. So Quantumania really just it did damage on me, folks. Again,
Yeah.
I haven't recovered.
Yeah, psychological trauma from
Oh,
Ant-Man 3. James Gunn can be, like, he was the golden boy with Marvel with, like, the Guardian movies, and now he's being tasked of, like, now you're the star player on the team, you're the
yeah,
captain, the best player, you're everything. Like, we pin our hopes on you. I wasn't thinking of Matt Reeves, actually. Yeah, like, those DC movies are really good, and I'm probably going to be, no, I won't be disappointed with them. There's a higher chance of being disappointed with Marvel than the Matt Reeves stuff. But on a James Gunn level, like, I feel like there can be still disappointment.
my
No,
point
good
was though,
point. Like,
like
I wasn't even
DC.
thinking.
Sorry, I was saying DC just in general. Like I was looping Reeves and
Okay,
Gunn in there. Sorry.
okay, okay, good. Okay. Yeah. If Superman explodes, if Gunn's Superman explodes, like, man, that can open a whole like half a dozen movies right there, and it could be epic, and it could be DC's turn. You know, they get their decade of dominance over Marvel, so that could be exciting to watch. Either way, Eric, we're all winners because we're gonna get either really good DC or Marvel movies or both. The only possibility is if we get neither, that'll be very
Yeah.
hurtful. Then we'll have to rely on like James Cameron for Avatar 3 or something, which
Yeah.
is depressing. Um, but no, I'm excited. I don't know. I think Marvel, at the end of I'm looking at Marvel as an underdog right now, and if they freaking hit a home run, that'd be awesome to see. I want the resurrection of Marvel. I want that excitement where we get like the 2 movies a year and there's good build up and excitement. I love that stretch, Eric, like '08 to 2018, 2019. That was an amazing run.
Yeah. Oh,
I
yeah.
want that again. Honestly, I want that again. And I want that with DC too. That'd be cool if we have like dueling, battles every year. Like which movie's better. We will have lots to talk about on here. So
Definitely.
yeah, I'm putting my money on Marvel.
Okay. I mean, I respect your optimism. I mean, I wish I could mirror it fully. And like I said, I'm still gonna be there. I'll be supporting. I don't miss these movies when they go to theater, but I gotta see something. Like, and I need at
Yeah,
least. I want to say 2 of these 3 next year better be good because we've had too many bad years. Where like you look at 2022's lineup, you get a Doctor Strange, a Thor, and a Black Panther movie, and how many of them are memorable in that year? Really, maybe one, maybe
yeah,
two. Like if you stretch that, Doctor Strange is like a great movie, and then Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. That's a
yeah.
disappointing year. I remember being so excited for 2022's lineup of Marvel movies. So, anyways, I don't want to be Debbie Downer here. I'm just saying I think DC has not had their time to dominate in movies, and they may just get that chance now. Expansion franchise, William Carlson going from 6 goals in Columbus to 40 in Vegas, and then winning a cup a couple of years later. So, I think this is James Gunn's time. He and Matt Reeves are just going to be going back and forth, Kobe and Shaq passing the ball, who's dunking. So we'll see.
Love it.
We'll see what's to come. But yeah, that's kind of all I got on future of Marvel and DC for
Yeah, me
now.
too. We've talked about it enough.
Yeah. All right. So, what do we got for in terms of recommendations, Matt? What are you watching,
I don't have.
listening?
Okay, so I don't have a ton of movies because I finally finished Deadwood, the
Mm,
show. I binged that, and I watched the Deadwood movie, which was great if you've just finished the show. It's a nice cap. The show never concluded with a good ending, so they made a movie 15 years later to close it out, and the movie does a phenomenal job of ending every character's arc and stuff. I rarely see that where they do like a movie on the show, and it's like this was really good. So that kept me busy for a week or two. The movie I want to talk about is Joker Folie à Deux.
mm,
Um, okay, so I read all the criticisms on this movie. It hasn't gotten a high rating like the first one. So already in my brain, I'm like, okay, don't expect the first movie.
yeah.
Which honestly, if you're Todd Phillips, the director, you made a masterpiece in Joker Part 1, in my opinion. You can't top it with Joker 2. So what do? You go to the completely different route, and that's what he did. This movie is not at all like Joker, the first one. Totally different, smaller scale, smaller setting. Arthur is less like unhinged. Like it's very minimalistic compared to the first Joker. So I kind of respect that he did that, and I enjoyed the movie. I gave it 3.5 stars. It was really good acting. In terms of story, it doesn't really advance too much, but it closes. It's a nice compliment to the first movie. Like it's like a continuation. You find out what Arthur's up to now. Lady Gaga and Joaquin Phoenix do a great job in the movie. Now I will say this movie has some musical numbers in it, which kind of threw me off. But then they grow on you, and you're just accepted, and you're just like, this is what he wanted to do. This is what Todd Phillips wanted to do. I'm going with it. I'm not thinking of part one. This is its own movie. We're gonna just go with it and enjoy it, and I did, Eric. And I thought the ending was really good, and kept me interested in the whole movie. But if you're expecting the hard-hitting, gritty, like first Joker movie, which was a masterpiece in my opinion, you're not getting it with Joker 2. You're not. Like, it's like you didn't even try to top his first movie, which is a weird choice, but now I respect it because it's like, how do you top that, right, Eric? So what do you think of a director trying to do that, by the way? Like, do you think he should have went for like another home run, or no, you can't top it and just do a different type of movie?
Well, I mean, I think you shouldn't punt it either. Like if you think your first movie's a masterpiece, you're like, I can't top this, so I'm just gonna make this instead. Like you still want to see effort, right? You know what I mean? So,
True.
but I know you're saying that like he went a completely different direction, so the two can't really be they can't be compared because they're so different. So it's not even fair to say, oh, Joker, Folie à deux, like, what am I looking at here? It's like, well, he set out to make something completely different, so you shouldn't look to compare it to the first one. It's a different, he tried something different, so just respect it for what it is. But that's where it gets dicey, and why are you even following this up if you're not trying to reach the same heights? You know, that's kind of my thing.
True.
So
Yeah.
I wasn't that interested in seeing it based on the overall response that I saw, and I wonder, do you think you liked it a bit more because you saw all the hate that it got as well? Went in with lower expectations.
Perhaps.
So,
Perhaps. Yeah.
do you think they're opening the? Do you think they're doing a sequel to this? They close out the trilogy. Is that even on the table, or?
It's possible. Because of the backlash, I don't think they're gonna attempt a third one.
Yeah.
Just because of like the negativity it got, right? So,
Okay.
yeah. I don't think Todd's gonna try to do a third one because I think this was like maybe you should have kept it at one because it was so like you weren't gonna top this one. Like
Right.
freaking Joaquin wins Best Actor for a Joker movie. Like you can't do better than that. So yeah.
You know,
No, there won't be a. I don't think he's making a third one.
give Arthur Fleck another shot at the crown. Maybe he ends up hosting his own late night show, replacing the legendary Murray and
Murray.
you never know.
Murray Lincoln.
But
yeah.
rest in peace. But all right, sounds good. Good recommendation. I'm gonna go a completely different direction. I've done this before on the pod. We'll do it again. Je vais parler en français pour ça parce que ma recommandation est deux albums que j'écoute en français récemment. Matt, je te recommande ça si tu veux écouter de quoi en français. Peut-être que tu connais même cet artiste. Rêver mieux par Daniel Bélanger. Ça, c'est le nom de l'album. Rêver mieux, Daniel Bélanger. Et Trompe l'œil par Malajoub. Deux albums spectaculaires, à mon avis. Particulièrement
Wow.
Rêver mieux par Daniel Bélanger. Même d'écrire le genre de musique que c'est est difficile, mais c'est un petit peu trippy, comme des sons que tu entendrais quand même dans l'espace. C'est un petit peu comme alternatif, c'est comment je décrirais ça. Donc, moi, j'écoute constamment cet album-là. Bon, juste à l'arrière-plan, des bonnes paroles, même des chansons un petit peu comme punk rock. C'est des vieux albums, 2001-2006. Mais ça me fait penser à des chansons, même par comme, je sais pas, moi je connais pas aussi bien les groupes, là, mais comme Sum 41, Green Day, de ce genre-là. Donc, si tu veux, comme moi j'essaie d'écouter de quoi en français, là, comme j'écoute encore le podcast Véronique est fantastique que j'avais recommandé il y a quelques mois. Puis c'est eux qui ont recommandé ces albums-là, donc c'est comme ça que j'ai découvert ça. Je te recommanderais ça à n'importe qui veut consommer un peu plus en français. Rêver mieux, Daniel Bélanger et Trompe l'œil par Malajube. Deux vraiment bons albums. Ça m'a fait écouter un autre album en français aujourd'hui qui vient de sortir, Science humaine par deux frères. Pas mal bon aussi. Donc, je sais pas, ça m'ouvre les yeux un petit peu à d'autres médias. Ouais.
Je pense que je vais les écouter à cause. Moi aussi, j'écoute jamais la musique en français, donc ça va faire un changement, comme un bon changement. Je sais pas si comme t'es des fois fatigué d'écouter comme 2024 les albums de hip-hop. C'est comme hip-hop fatigue, hein, Eric?
100%.
Yeah.
Comme, moi, de ces jours, j'écoute plus même à juste des albums, des trames sonores de des films. Comme j'écoute à ça pendant que je travaille, moi, habituellement. Puis, mais entre ces albums-là et au lieu d'écouter du rap tout le temps, là, j'aime vraiment ça écouter à ces albums francophones.
Yeah.
Donc, ouais. C'est tout en
Good.
français pour moi.
Yeah, good, solid recommendation. Yeah, I pepper my hip hop albums with like albums that I ask my coworkers like, what's a good '90s grunge rock album? What do you listen to? You like this band? Okay, what's their best album? And I just go like that. I work with music aficionados.
Okay.
Like how I am with movies, they're like with music. So like they're like freaking like, oh, you don't know all the listen to all these artists, and I'm like, all right.
No, that's nice.
Yeah. I've been listening to music a lot. My recommendation is actually an app on the phone called Radio Paradise.
Okay,
you don't have to use it on your data. You can download chunks. It's basically commercialless radio, and it's a playlist. And there's a rock one, a pop one, easy listening one, and an international one. And basically, I download like 5 or 6 hours at a time, and then I can listen to it in my car without my data. And it's just like a really weird playlist. Like they deep dive on artists that like I'll have no idea who they are, but the songs are good. So it's basically, if you're tired of listening to the radio, just download the app Radio Paradise. It's free, and there's some good playlists on there. A lot of older music, but it's good.
Okay,
That'll be my music recommendation.
That's cool. I like that. Radio Paradise. Okay. Another
there's no hip hop, but there's no hip hop. Sadly, it's more like like a lot of world music. Like just if you listen to it for 2 minutes, you'll get what I'm saying. You're like, okay, this is like weird, but some of the songs might make us deep dive on an artist, right? Who knows?
Yeah, no, that's cool. I mean, I don't need any more access to hip hop. I'm pretty tapped in. I don't need a new app to give me some hip hop recommendations. But anything else, I definitely do need, because it's like, where do you start, right? And an app that has like a curated list of different genres or international music even would be that'd be great to get the ball rolling for me. So no, I love that. Yeah, I've been watching a ton of movies lately. I don't want to recommend too many. I'm just Harry Potter marathon right now. Almost done with that. Like I said, Deadpool, gonna finish that soon.
Yeah. You ripped the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I mean, I've covered these. We've talked about those movies like for the last few episodes there. I don't want to keep giving my thoughts on it. I could, but no, it's just doing a lot of rewatch right now. The Christmas movie's coming up soon. I'm gonna go see Gladiator. That's coming out next week. So hopefully at some point next week can go see that. I'm gonna rewatch the first one.
I want to go see it too. Yeah, sort of cut you off, but yeah, I'm interested too.
Yeah, that's another one.
Maybe a Gladiator show. Yeah,
should be good. Hopefully, we'll see if that ends up being one of the best of the year. Because now there's, again, the movies are coming, and it's no complaints of the year for movies for me. There were earlier in the year, but not anymore. Rap has been the weakest for me, to be honest. Like, of the three that we do, it's movies and TV I've enjoyed way more than hip-hop. But
I'm with you, Eric. I'm with you.
Yeah.
I just want to compliment you. Like your Letterboxd reviews of Harry Potter crack me up, like in the best way. I love reading your Harry Potter stuff. I honestly wish it was like 3 pages, because like I know because I've seen the movie so many times. I know exactly what you're talking about, and I've agreed with every one of your ratings. In terms of like quality dip and like I've loved reading your reviews, Eric. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay.
And maybe for 7 and 8, like, write a tiny bit more, or like, I don't know. It's the wordplay that gets me. You know, you'll have some funny comparisons and stuff. It's good. It's good.
No,
And 5 and 6, like Warner and Half-Blood Prince, like I really agree. You know, and put another. You shed some light on the stuff that I couldn't really put into words, but you're right. You're dead on about those two movies. That's all I'm gonna say.
I appreciate that, Matt. I crack myself up writing this stuff. Like my Order of the Phoenix review, the first paragraph, I was dying as I was writing that. I'm not gonna read it, but anyways, if anyone's on the app Letterbox, toss us a follow. It's fun. Yeah, I like putting a little bit down. I normally like to stick to 3 paragraphs though, because I do feel like I could for sure write more, but that's kind of the formula I like to go with. Funny first paragraph, analysis in the middle, and then maybe a little funny in the end. It's like a sandwich formula that I like to go with. But I also don't force it. It has to be organic. Can't overthink it. If it's strictly analysis, go for it. But yeah, I was thinking for the Deathly Hallows Part 1, like just like one line, to be honest, but I don't know what it's gonna be. I was thinking honestly, just like this movie stinks, but I think I'm gonna give it a little more than that. But anyways,
maybe I'll get something out of it. Maybe I'll get something different out of it. Who knows?
For sure. But I think it's my least favorite one, no doubt.
Right.
But yeah, no, it's fun to do.
I've actually only seen it once from start to finish.
Really?
Hallows Part 1. Yeah, like I watched it in segments after, but never like sat down and did the whole thing in one shot.
Oh my god, I've seen them all so many times. But yeah, they get worse as the kids get older, right? So, in my opinion, it's the tones. That's what does it for me. I find it just the lens the cameraman uses brutal. It's like straight sepia out here, grayscale. Shout out Jorah Mormont. And I don't mess with it. Mix in a couple of bright reds, some vibrant greens or something. I want those Avada Kedavras to pop, But anyways, yeah. Don't worry. Two more Harry Potter reviews, and then it's back to hopefully a couple of new movies. But that's been fun to do.
Nice.
Yeah, I guess that's it.
I'm enjoying your journey too. Yeah, that's it for me too. I've been watching a lot of hockey lately, sports, NFL. So
nice.
Yeah, busy.
All right. Well, I hope you all enjoyed us chopping it up on Marvel DC. Let us know what you think. Do you think Marvel's heading down the right direction, or Agatha and Deadpool steps in the right direction in your opinions? Please do let us know. Always appreciate that. Matt, any final notes for the listeners?
Thank you, everybody, for listening. Hope you enjoyed our Penguin, Agatha, Deadpool talk, and that you agree with some of our points or disagree. Let us know, and hope you're having a great time right now, November, in the month of November, enjoying hockey season. And thank you again for listening.
Down, down, down the road, down the witch's road. So good. All right, thanks a lot, everybody, for listening. Stay tuned for episodes dropping every 2 Mondays. Enjoy the crispier weather. Christmas around the corner. Shop accordingly. The Black Friday sales. And peace.